coming few minutes that we'll spend together will be meaningful for all of you to decide on your future course of action and your defining your life and destiny. Um, I hope all of you are from Kerala. Anybody from outside Kerala here? Can you raise your hand if you are from outside Kerala? Okay, Manju, Muku, where are you from? And how many of you want me to speak in Malayalam? My preferred language is English, but I can speak pretty good Malayalam. Anybody who wants me to speak in Malayalam? No, okay. So, good morning once again. I'm Saji Joseph, also happen to be the CEO of Faith Infotech Academy. And going back to give some background, um, uh, we started as a training center for CMC Limited, which is Computer Maintenance Corporation of India, in 1999. And then in 2009, I think in 2004, CMC was taken over by TCS, Tata Consultancy Services. And then we were part of the TCS fraternity till about 2009. And then finally, CMC was merged with TCS. That's when we took an independent identity of Faith Infotech Academy and started a training center in Technopark. Yeah, just a moment. Seem to be having a small trouble with my. Okay. Yes, I was having a bit of trouble with my computer. Yeah, so this is our campus in. Uh, so just to go back to what I told you, I have been in training for the last 25 years since 1999, and being operating the academy at Technopark for the last 15 years. And after coming to Technopark, we have trained about 4,000 plus engineers, and they're working in about right now, I think about 150 companies in Technopark and Infopark itself. And this is the Technopark campus. And on the left side, what you're seeing is the Tejaswini building where we are based out of. And on the right side, you will see the Bhavani building in Technopark. How many of you been to Technopark? Okay. So as you would know, Technopark is a greenest and largest IT park in the world. And right now it houses around 80,000 professionals from about 300 companies. അവിടെ നോക്ക്. Are you able to hear me?
Yes,
Hello.
yes.
And this is the industry interaction happening at with Infotech, where we have people from the different industries coming over and interacting with faculty and all this. You see the picture of Chief Minister when he came to Faith Infotech, when he just took charge of the IT department. And I think all of you are professional graduates, right? And Faith Infotech is also a training partner for most of the leading companies in Technopark. For example, UST Global, IBS, EY, Alliance, Experian or Trends or InvestNet, INAB. We are also training students even in Japan. Right now, we are training students from about 20 nationalities from different parts of the world who have migrated to Japan, who are looking for IT jobs there. We're training them to take up jobs in Japan. And just to give an idea about the IT trends, what's happening in the IT industry, um, some of you would be aware that there's a slowdown right now. The hiring has dropped, especially for freshers. A lot of offers that were given on the campus has not been honored. Some of the campus offers that were given last year, onboarding has been delayed, and there's a lot of gloom in the, especially for the freshers, because they're waiting for joining. But then, if you were to look back at the trends over the last couple of years, I would say the last 20 years, there were many situations where people thought it is the end of IT industry and there will no longer be any jobs and industry is going to go through a difficult situation. But then things turned around. For example, in 2001, we had the 9/11 when World Trade Center attack happened. And also there was something called the dot-com bubble. I don't know. Some of you were not even born at that time. And so everyone thought all the companies were closing down. There will be no longer IT industry. There will be no longer job opportunities. And at that time, I think the number of people working in the industry was maybe about 2 lakhs in India. And in 2008-9, there was another downturn where was a huge downturn. A lot of people were sent off, and people say that's the end of the industry. And then at that time, there was about 10 lakh people working in the industry. And of course, during the COVID, when the COVID pandemic just started, there was a lot of people were sent off. But then after 6 months, 1 year, there was hiring left, right, and center. Right now, the number of people working in India in the IT industry is about 5 million. It's about 50 lakh people working here. Um, and by 2028, 24, we are expecting that the total number of people working in the IT industry across the world will be about 28 million. That's about 2.8 crores, nearly the number of people, the population of Kerala will be working in the IT industry. So what I'm trying to say is that those of you having this gloom that things are in bad shape, will we have IT jobs? This is a cycle that we will go through, and the future is going to be driven by technology, and AI is going to drive the future. And AI also will mean that a lot more technology specialists have to be working in this field. And if you look at the average salary of IT professionals, um, in India, the starting salary is somewhere between 3 to 6 lakh rupees based on um, the company that you work for. For example, companies like UST, IBS, they pay around 3 to 3.6 lakhs per annum as for a fresher. But global companies like Nissan Digital, H&R Block, and Technopark, other companies, the multinationals in Technopark, they pay around 5 lakhs per annum. And if you work for 2 years in India, you typically get about um, 6 lakh rupees on an average for a 2 year experienced person. But then the same person, if he's working outside India, if he's working in the US, he gets about 60 to 70 lakhs per annum. And someone with about 10 years experience can command as much as 1.5 crores to 3 crores in US. So what I'm trying to say is that just like the nurses in Kerala, uh, they get why do they get to do nursing? Not because they want to work at 20,000 rupees in Kim's Hospital or some Aster Medicity and all that, no? Because they're seeing a future for them outside India. And once they get the 2 year experience, they get the US visa or UK visa. And once they're able to go over to Europe or US, they're one of the best paid professions in Europe and US. Similarly, for IT also, we have a couple of job roles which have a lot of opportunities globally. So you're not investing in building a career and becoming an IT professional because not just because you want to get a job here, but because it is a global career. And one of the most popular job roles that we have is a full stack developer. How many of you heard about this job role, full stack developer? Okay. And how many of you are interested in being a full stack developer? Okay, so to give a simplified version of what a full stack developer is, all of you will be using um, some banking application where you do net banking and all that, or even an email. All of us use even the railway reservation. So what we see on the screen when we open the screen, the fields, um, the buttons, the look and feel, the way it loads on the computer as well as on the phone will be different because there's more real estate on the laptop, there's less on the mobile. So you have a responsive form which will change the shape and size based on the device that you take. So the UI, the one that you interact mostly in the software is the screen that you use. So that's called, in technical terms, we call it the UI UX, user experience or user interface. And that's one element of the software. And at the back end, when you put a date or data or date of birth, if in a name field, if you put a number, it is not taken. Or if you put in a date of birth, if you put an A to Z alphabet, it doesn't get taken. So there's some validation happening. So the backend, there's a validation happening. So that is, we use programming languages like Java or .NET or Java, C Sharp or Python to do this validation. So that's the backend programming. And whatever information that we enter, it has to be stored somewhere. So we use a database to store that. So there are three layers: the UI, the backend programming business logic, and then the database which for storing that information. So all these three layers together is called the full stack. So earlier in the software development, these three roles were done by three different people. The database, we had a database programmer, a designer, and we had a UI designer, and then we had a backend programmer. Right now, the companies, they combine these three roles into one, where uh, one person has to create the all the three elements of the particular module. For example, if it is a um, um, registration page, and the registration page, I will design the registration page. I will do the write the code for the validation, and also I will also do the database for the all the candidates who do the registration. So that's what a full stack developer is. And full stack development itself can be done in different ways. When we say full stack, it is not just about web development. Even in a desktop application, you have screen design, you have backend programming, you have database. So you can do a console application or a desktop application. That is one architecture. Then you can use a simple web application like the banking application or the enterprise applications that we built for the railway registration form and all that, railway booking, etc. That is what we call MVC architecture, model view control architecture. And then we have something called the single page application. It's similar to the LinkedIn that we use, the Facebook that we use, where we don't go from one page to the other, but then we can simply scroll down for infinite number of data. So we use uh, JavaScript packages like Angular or React for building single page applications. So uh, full stack development can be done on all the three different architecture models. Uh, so most of the institute, they will teach you just one of these elements, either to build a simple web application or the single page application. But then in Faith Infotech, we have a unique approach where we um, believe that every project has to be done differently. So even if you join a company, uh, one's project may be a simple desktop application, another may be an MVC application, another may be a single page application. So you have to learn all the three different ways of doing a full stack application development. And this is one of the most popular job roles. And I mentioned about 28 million people working in that industry by 2024. Out of that, 22 million will be mostly working as full stack developers. And every year, there's a requirement for about 6 lakh plus full stack developers coming in. So as I mentioned, you need to have the front-end development skills, which you can do using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or you can use React or Node for building front-end. The backends, server side, we can use uh, technologies like Node and Express.js, or you can use Python, Django, or you can use C#.NET, or you can use Java, Spring, and Spring Boot as a backend server side technology for this. And for web and for storage, we use uh, database like Oracle, MongoDB, and SQL Server, MariaDB, etc. And you will also learn, you also need to know how to secure your code. Secure your code means whatever code that you write, whether the application that you develop, you need to store it in a secure place, and you need to document for it, and you need to repositories this. So use tools like GitHub and documentation tools, and you also need to also the next level you need to deploy it on the cloud using AWS or Azure. So these are all elements of being a full stack developer. So when you want to be a full stack developer, you have to make sure that you have learned all the different elements. That is the front end development, the server side programming, the database technology, documentation tools, and also the cloud and DevOps for deployment of the application. And the next popular job role that all of you see is data science engineering. And this is an area where there's an exponential growth, 200% growth by 2026. And India itself will have 32% of the market share for data science engineers. And India could be the second largest destination for data science engineers. And um, we are expecting that about 11 million, that's 1.1 crore job openings in data science in the coming years in India. And this is an area, data science and AI is an area where there's an exponential growth. When I say exponential growth, the graph at which the pace at which the graph is growing is very sharp. Whereas the full stack developer, because we already have around 20 million people working in that industry, even if it grows by 10%, that's an addition of 2 million, right? So in real numbers, full stack developers, the number of people required for full stack development and data science may be the similar every year in the coming years. But when you look statistically or analytically, in terms of percentage growth, you will see a larger growth for the data science and AI engineering. So that doesn't mean that there are less opportunities in full stack development. It actually means we have a lower base for data science and AI. So you will see a sharper uh, uh, improvement in terms of numbers in data science and AI. And so what we are trying to do here is to have a combination of best of both the worlds. So if you can combine the best of data science and best of full stack development and AI, you can have one singular program where you could have multiple career options, right? So if you learn Python, Django, and Web API and MVC application development, and on top of that, if you learn data science, you can become a good data science engineer. You can develop as a full stack developer. And if you pick up the AI tools, you can also work as a AI developer. On top of that, you also have an opportunity to work as test engineers also if you learn full stack development. So you have four different career roles which can be combined into one training program. That's what we call full stack development with Python, with data science and AI. So you have a possibility, like you don't have to be stuck with one opportunity. You can explore multiple career roles, and over time you will find what is your real interest. Because as a fresher, as an young engineer straight out of college, you may not exactly know what you really enjoy doing. So this kind of program will help you to explore uh, three or four different job roles, and each of it in depth. And then you can dabble in any one of this and try out these different job roles as a developer, as a full stack developer, as a data science engineer, or an AI engineer, or a test engineer. Or you can simply specialize in UI development or backend programming. And then after doing a couple of projects, you will find that you enjoy some things more than something else. And you can try to focus on that and build your career in that particular field. And when you are able to discover your purpose and your passion, what happens? You are able to enjoy what you do. Um, in I don't know where you heard about something in Japan. There's something called uh, there's a term called ikigai. You heard about this term ikigai? Anyone? Ikigai basically means meaningful and purposeful life. Because the question that we ask ourselves, no, many times is, am I enjoying this? Is it this meaningful for me? At the end of my life, will I feel happiness in what I do? So all of us, within all of us, there is this urge to find happiness and joy in what we do. So the concept is this, that if you are able to, there are three elements to this sense of purpose and fulfillment. One is that you should do that something that you are passionate about. Second is you should have a very good skill in doing that. Third is that you should be able to sustain yourself by pursuing that particular passion. That you should be able to uh, support your family and support yourself, and make economic sense out of the whole thing. So you will find something meaningful and purposeful and enjoyable in the long term only if you are doing something that you are passionate about, only if you are doing something that you are skilled in, and only in when you are able to do something that you are able to make economic sense out of it, that you are able to sustain yourself, that you are able to improve the quality of your life, quality of life of your family, and the people around us. And the good thing about working in the IT industry is that uh, if you are able to understand your passion, you can actually use this to build the skills and pursue your meaningful, purposeful career. For example, you are passionate about healthcare, for example, or if you are passionate about education, if you are passionate about social welfare, if you are passionate about banking, if you are passionate about insurance, then you can maintain that passion and then build the technical skills, the programming skill, the UI skills, the database skills, the technology skills to, to revolutionize that particular industry or that particular segment. And if you're able to do that, you are able to exponentially improve your economic situation and the situation of people around you. So you will have the drive to learn this programming or technology only when you are able to connect the why we are learning this. So you need to, each one of you, if you have to really enjoy learning technology, you also need to connect with a particular um, passion, whether it is entertainment, whether it is um, banking, whether it is social welfare, whether it is healthcare, and then try to find some improvement that you can do by bringing technology into that. So when you do that, your learning itself becomes meaningful. And when you are able to learn and develop your skills, automatically you will be able to sustain yourself. You are able to find a job and you're able to apply this, whatever you're learning, and begin your career. Not just in India, but this is a career that is global, and you can really make things happen for yourself. And the way we run our program is in Technopark and Infotech, we have a 4 months full-time program, that is 100 days full-time program. And it's a classroom training where you will come to Technopark campus, 9 to 6, you will be here. You will be given um case studies, you will be given assignments, you will be building applications. And every 10 days, you will come up with a small element of the project, which you will continue to reuse uh, in the subsequent camps. And by the end of the course, you will have built at least three different applications: one desktop application, one MVC web application, one single page application. Uh, and you will actually be able to develop an application either for healthcare or for retail or for entertainment, whichever that you're interested in. And when you go to a company for a job, you will be able to explain this project that you have done, and they actually were able to present these projects. And once they find that you're competent to do the job that they have, they will hire you. And we have thousands of our students working in the Technopark campus. And if you look at the bottom line here, an average salary of students who have trained at Faith Infotech, right now the average salary they draw is about 12 lakhs per annum. That doesn't mean that they'll get 12 lakh rupees per annum when they start the job, but then within about a couple of years, they will be able to get that kind of salary. And how we have designed this course is different from how uh, anyone else will be doing this. Because as I mentioned in the beginning, we are the training partner for multiple IT companies in the Technopark and Infopark and even outside India. So we know exactly what these companies are looking for from their employees, the kind of applications they will be developing. So the course is designed to give the output that is expected from the employers. Um, and it is not a theoretical training. It is completely hands-on, where you will build applications and you will present these applications, and you will be debugging these things, and you will be working together with your uh, teammates, collaborating. And it is based on the cybernetics of software engineering. So the advantage of being in Faith Infotech Academy is that you are in the IT park itself, where we have about 80,000 people working, now 300 plus companies. So you have exposure which you cannot get anywhere else. And it is ranked number one in placement and quality and industry exposure, the trainee partner for the IT companies here. And we have trained more candidates in full stack development. I mean, this term full stack development itself is a new term for the students. But then we have been doing full stack development since 2004. So the only company which actually discovered this particular course itself. So you're able to learn from them. And this is fully instructor-led, not online training, not video-based training, but you are training along with a team of maybe around 20, 30 students in a class, in a room environment, where you will collaborate and you will learn implementing multiple case studies. So this program gives you, as I told you, it's a unique integrated program which will give you preparation for multiple job roles, either as a software engineer, as a full stack developer, as a database engineer, as a front-end developer, or as a data science engineer or a AI engineer. So multiple job roles open to you. And it is designed in such a way that even non-computer science students can master this. And we also have training and placement preparedness. For example, you will be given some training on interview preparation, aptitude training, so that you are able to clear the evaluations of the companies which will be recruiting you after the training. And there is always a preference from the companies in the IT park when they need to hire people. First, they look out for people who are trained and available here. And also, I don't know, you would know that there's a difference in the way people recruit when they are outside the campus. When you're in the campus recruitment, what happens is companies typically look for only the aptitude and attitude. So they'll give you some aptitude tests. They will give you some basic technical evaluation, and they will do an HR interview and normally look for signs that you are someone who believes in excellence and all that. But in an off-campus placement, typically off-campus roles are jobs roles which have been filled just in time. That is, they have no time to train. They want to deploy these people immediately onto the projects. So for off-campus recruitments, which you're typically facing, most companies look for some specific skills. So if you look at the most of the off-campus placement job roles, you will find that they have a requirement. They will be having some technical evaluation. So at least they will want you to have a very good foundation in basic programming skills, a good foundation in database skills, a bit good foundation in object-oriented concepts. So most of the non-computer science students will fail to crack those opportunities because they don't have the basic programming skills or database skills or object-oriented programming skills. So because of that, what we have done is we have integrated this basic programming skills, database skills, and object-oriented programming skills as a foundation program for about 1 month into our course. Because even computer science students, we find that they are not thorough with these concepts in basic programming, database, and object-oriented programming skills. So this will be covered in the first 1 month. And after that, you can specialize in either uh, a full stack development using MERN stack or Min stack or Python or Java or .NET. And you can do a super specialty using on AI and AI/ML or data science, right? So, uh, so the program actually prepares you for off-campus opportunities, uh, and even for non-computer science students, when they have this profile in their resume that they have completed this full-stack developer training program in Faith Infotech Academy, if you're applying to any company in Technopark, the moment they see our name itself, candidates are called for because they understand the kind of training that is delivered here and the quality of training and the process that we follow, how the course is designed. So if you look at this diagram here, you will see a lot of arrows going back and forth, right? So you will see an arrow here in the specification. Um, you will see an arrow. You will see a convergence in enterprise architecture. You will see convergence in database. You will see convergence in programming. You will see convergence in verification conditions. You will see convergence in design. You will see convergence in implementation. So there are points where a lot of arrows converge, or there are points where a lot of arrows diverge also. For example, from modeling, you'll see a lot of arrows diverging. In programming, a lot of arrows are converging, right? In database, a lot of arrows are converging. And in design, some arrows are converging and some arrows are diverging. So wherever there is a convergence of arrows, that's basically it's called a technology bottleneck. So you have to pay a lot of attention to that particular element, and where a lot of arrows are diverging, it is called um, a technology influencer, things that influence the decision. So in terms of designing a course, in terms of uh, building applications, These are the different elements that we need to touch upon. So when we have designed this course, we have designed this course based on this cybernetics of software engineering. So it is not like, some random person decided to teach you Java or .NET or Python, somebody announcing a course in Python or some programming language. So there's no point just learning a language. It is when you apply it to a problem that it becomes meaningful. For example, a lot of us learn English language, but we are not able to speak, right? The same way you might learn programming without being able to develop an application, that is meaningless. But when we are exposed to a situation in Bangalore or Chennai and all that, we learn to speak the language. The similar approach we have taken here in Faith Infotech, when you have to build applications, then automatically you will learn the language. So you introduce the problems or the case studies or the requirements first, and then based on that, you learn as much elements as required to build that application. And then by building this application, you understand the language and you will slowly make sense of the theoretical concepts behind it. So it is learning by doing, then by reading or by teaching somebody. So you are actually involved in building the entire application. So that's why when you go to a company, whatever kind of task they will be assigning, you will be able to do it. Not only able to do it, but you will also be able to learn and grow there. Because what we have seen is that compared to even candidates who are trained by companies themselves, our candidates, once they join a company, they progress much faster than others, and they are able to make a real difference in the workplace. The other day, a friend of mine, or I would say not a friend, a student of mine called me from Canada. And the reason why he called is because he had his cousin or nephew going over to Canada, and he wanted his cousin to come and do this course before coming to Canada. So I asked him why, because he said in 2008-9, when he had graduated from the campus, I told you there was a downturn and a lot of people, there was no job opportunities. So in spite of graduating from computer science, he did not get a campus placement. So he had some uncle or cousin working in the Gulf, so he went to there. And then he took up some job that was nothing to do with computer science, I think some clerical job. And he worked for 2 years. He got very frustrated and he was very unhappy because he was not applying whatever we learned. He had done engineering, and what he was doing had nothing to do with engineering. Then he heard about this training in Faith Infotech in Technopark, and he said from UAE he came straight to Trivandrum. And we had an aptitude test at the time, selection test and interview. He appeared for it. He was selected. He joined for this course and did not even go home to his house in Calicut for the next 4 months, even for a weekend. He did this very seriously, and he completed the course with a decent grade. And in spite of that fact that he had a decent grade, because he had a couple of years of year gap, he did not get into the top level companies. But we were able to support him to get placed in one of the startups in Technopark itself. And he worked in that company for about 6 months to 1 year. Once he had done that 6 months to 1 year, he got a call from another Technopark company, which was into um, mostly electronics manufacturing, similar to what Intel and Dell and all they do, um, semiconductor application development. And this company is called GES, so he got an opportunity to go to join this company GES. Right now, this company's name has been taken over by another Japanese company itself. And the company that he joined there, GES, eventually sent him to some 16 countries across the world to implement semiconductor applications. And right now, this young man, he works He's barely 35, and he works in Intel in Canada and earns about 3 crores in salaries. So what I'm trying to say, um, uh, what is important is you are able to find your passion and purpose, and if you're able to get started even in a small company, if you're consistent, if you're able to stay there, and if you build the skills, that because are you able to hear me? Yes. So if you look at this previous screen, you will see a lot of arrows converging and diverging here. So we have taken those important elements uh, to build the program. For example, you will see a lot of arrows converging or diverging on modeling, on designing skills and programming principles, on technology tools, industry best practices, communication, collaboration, and professional behavior, etc. So we have taken those elements to design the course. And we have a unique pedagogy, or when we pedagogy is the way you learn or teach. Um, One is we learn. See, software engineering is a very vast syllabus, or it's a vast industry. There are huge number of technologies, stacks, database technologies, UI stacks, approaches, and all that. So it's not possible to teach you everything in 4 months' time. And also, this is an industry where even if you learn everything today, tomorrow it becomes what do you call obsolete. You have new technology, new standards coming up. So what we try to teach is how to learn, so that learning to learn, so that you are able to be your own master. You are able to teach yourself and teach people around you instead of being dependent on someone to teach you stuff. Of course, you will get all the guidance and support that is required for you uh, initially to get started. But beyond that, we try to make sure that you are able to sustain yourself. Right. Then you have individual feedback. Feedback can only be given if you have evaluation. So every 2 weeks, your performance in the training will be evaluated uh, through how you submit your assignments on a daily basis, how you work in the classroom on a daily basis, and then you have MCQs, multiple choice questions, which will test your learning on the previous day. And every 10 days, you have a camp evaluation where you have MCQs, you have lab tests, you have a project, and you have a Viva. And these evaluations and feedbacks give you an idea about where you stand in terms of expectation from the industry, expectation vis-a-vis the performance of the other participants in the training, so that you're able to make corrective action. So it's not at the end of the course you will discover whether you have made progress or not, but you will discover your progress through your outputs on a daily basis, as well as the camp outputs at the end of every 10 days. Whatever projects um, that you create will give you an idea about how you stand. Just a moment, please. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, and also it's learner centric in the sense that when we say learner centric, we try to make it as personalized as possible, so that different people have different levels of competence and learning. So some people come from computer science, so uh, we challenge them to learn more than what a non-computer science student should learn. And someone may be a little slow. So based on that, different levels of programs or what I say assignments will be given to the individual participants in the class, and you will be you will be assisted based on your level of learning and your background, so that everyone makes progress, and by the end of the course you will have a decent outcome. And of course, we software development is not something that you do as an individual. It's a collaborative approach. uh, for example, an enterprise banking application, you have maybe thousands of people working together on the same project. Different pages or different elements may be done by different persons, but you need to make sure that the same data is passed to the other person that you have developed, and you need to collaborate with others. So you will learn how to work together, learn in teams, and collaborate and build the products. And you will also learn to learn from each other. You learn how to share your knowledge with others and support the other person and build the applications as a team. Because unless you're able to work together, you will not be able to work in the industry here. So you will learn software engineering as a collaboration and develop the full stack capabilities to build an effective and cross-functional team. And then it's based on problem. Like I told you, we don't give you introduce the concepts. Rather, we introduce the problem statements and help you to learn based on the problem statement. And by doing the work, doing the projects, in retrospect, you will be able to learn the concepts and you will be able to clear the interviews. When I say iterative learning, I mean the key concept that you learn in each of the camp. If you as you go forward, you will find that we have divided this 100-day program into about 6 to 7 camps. So whatever you learn in the first 10 days, you will learn basic programming. That is something that you will apply right through these 100 days and beyond in your career. The second 10 days, you will learn database. That's something that you will apply right through the next 80 days and beyond. And next, uh, you will learn web development. And again, that's something that you will use in that particular 10 days and the remaining 70 days and beyond, right through your career. So whatever you learn, it is not something that you learn and discard. Unlike you learn in the college and school, you finish a semester or a paper and that's the end of it. You don't reuse that. But here you have iterative learning. So what happens, whatever you have learned, you don't forget it because you are using it right through the subsequent days as well as right through your career. So initially you have a goal setting, and then you have programming fundamentals, and you have database, and the front end development, and the back end programming, and then you have a capstone project. And for the methodology that we have used is the training methodology. There's something called I do, we do, and you do. When I say I do, the trainer probably introduces the small problem statement and demonstrate how it is resolved. And then you are given another problem statement, then you do alongside the trainer. That's we do. And then you are probably given another problem statement which you have to do yourself. So you're able to build confidence that you can do it yourself, and you're able to crack similar problems. And we have a unique a parallel uh, uh, process flow. On the left side, you will see what you learn, and the right side, you'll see what you build. So as you learn something, you will also be building an outcome. For example, in from the when you learn software engineering, as an outcome of that, you will introduce a problem statement and then create the documentation. And then you will design the database tables and build the database table. Then you will learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, the front end development tools, and the outcome of that, you will create the wireframes. At the next level, you will learn the technology stack that is required for you to write the logic and build the APIs. And finally, you will uh, create the single page design, learn Angular or React, and then as an outcome, you will create UI UX for that. And all these are integrated to come up with the final product. This is the way the program is designed. And in every camp, you have a lot of activities like group study, presentation, practical assignments, and reviews and evaluations. And the evaluation process that I mentioned is, again, I already mentioned, we have objective tests, we have concept evaluation, practical tests, and reviews and project presentations. So all the elements are given equal importance, not just conceptual knowledge, but the lab tests will make sure that you are able to, we are evaluating your capability to actually implement the projects. The project evaluations will actually evaluate your capability to work on it in a company. And Vivas will help you to have conceptual knowledge. And when you go for an interview, since you have already faced the Viva here, you will find it very easy to clear those interviews also. And the course structure is more or less like this. There's some change right now. So in the first 30 days, you have the foundation, that is programming basics using Python, database using Oracle, and web designing using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Then you can specialize in one of the technology stacks, either Java or .NET or Python or Node as the backend programming technology. And based on that, you will learn different elements. So, for example, if you have learned C#, you will learn object-oriented programming concepts using C#. If you're learning Python, you will be learning OOPS using Python. If you're learning Java, you will be learning OOPS using Java. If you're learning Node and React, you will learning OOPS using that. And you will learn how to connect the previous CAM you have learned database. So how to use the database in the backend and create a simple desktop application using this particular technology. Then next level, you will learn enterprise application, that is web application, using the database and the front-end tool that you have learned, and the backend programming language. And the next stage, you will learn single page application, that is how to use Angular or React for front-end development, how to use create API, web APIs using Flask or Django or .NET Core or Spring Hibernate, and how to connect the database using ORM, object like SQL Alchemy or Hibernate or uh, .NET Core tools. So with that, you will be able to come up with a full application. And then um, for those of you who will be learning uh, data science, you have specialization in data science elements like NumPy, Pandas, and data visualization tools, probability and statistics of learning, data pre-processing, and optimization of, and web scraping. And once you've done that with data science, you will learn deep learning and data analytics. And again, you will have a project on data science as well as on deep learning. And so that's how the course is structured. And who can join for this program, the full stack developer program or data science engineering program? Those who are fresh out of college, if you're looking for an IT job, and if you're already in the IT industry, and if you want to change from, say, software manual testing to uh, automation testing or full stack development or data science engineering, you can apply for this course. And if you're switching for electrical, mechanical, civil jobs, if you want to build an IT career in IT, or someone who has been out of touch, he probably pursued his business or some other interest, maybe got married, uh, had kids, and the children have started going to school, so yeah, you want to start your career. And maybe even digital entrepreneurs, you have come across an idea that you want to translate into uh, a technology solution, or you have a enterprise or a business that you want to digitize and you want to build on top of that, that is digital entrepreneurs. And as I told you, we have at least 4,000 plus alumni working in, I think, more than 150, 200 companies now in the Technopark and Infopark itself, including the largest companies like Accenture. Even last week, we had some students who joined Accenture. We had um, a few students who joined USC recently. So, but that doesn't mean that in every batch the same companies come. Um, so for this batch, there may be USC coming. Next batch, it may be HNL Block. Subsequent batch, it could be some other company. But I'm trying to say that there is always, since we have around 300 plus companies in the park itself, there'll be some company or the other hiring ones and twos. It's not like only 20, 30 people get hired by one company itself. But the difference in coming to Faith Infotech and your campus placement is when you go for a campus placement, there will be, or an off-campus placement, there are typically 500 to 1,000 students appearing for the same company's evaluation. And the number of recruitments from that will be maybe 10 or 15 from about 1,000 people. That's about 1% or 2%. Whereas in Faith Infotech, we have a batch size will be around typically 20 to 30 students. And there will be at least 5 or 6 companies, which each of which require 5 or 6 people. So there's 100% requirement uh, from the companies. So there is so the chances of you getting into a company, it is not limited to 2% or 3%. It is more than are you able to hear me now? I think I got disconnected. Hello? Yeah, sorry, there was a problem with the Wi-Fi, I think. So I don't know how much you heard. So typically, the someone who comes with faith, you have near about 100% chance that you will get into a job, provided you work hard during this training program. And you get at least 60 to 70% the training. Why I say, if people ask me what is the chance of you getting a job, I would say 90%, because we do an evaluation of the candidates, and who we are near about 90% confident that you will get into a job. Only those candidates are selected from the course. Why I say 90%? Because there's always a room for human error in my judgment. And even if I feel that you have a potential to do the course, some students don't really live up to that potential. When you come to the course, you get distracted. You don't pursue that seriously. And that is the only reason why you may not get an outcome. Every person who had at least 60% in the evaluation, in the training here, have 100% got jobs. That's the track record that we have. And if you ask me how many people overall got jobs, irrespective of their performance in the training, even taking people who have not got that 60%, uh, I would say 90% of the students have got. Uh, so 90% of the students are able to complete their course with minimum 60%, and every one of them are able to get into a job. Even students who have not clear the tests, not clear our final evaluation, sometimes by the grace of God, get placed because God is merciful. No, sometimes because you have put in your effort, and we try to support as long as a candidate is genuine, and even if we find that he or she has not made the mark, provided we are convinced that he has made an effort and worked hard, we are always willing to support that candidate and even give a free repeat of the course. You can take a free repeat of the course if you don't clear your tests and evaluations. Every test, if you don't get 60%, you have an option to take a retest. And even after taking a retest, if you're not able to clear, you have an option to repeat that particular camp. So there is no denial of opportunities, and it is up to every candidate to encash those opportunities and come out of the program successfully. But some candidates, after doing the course, during the course, also discover that they're not interested in this program. And that's why I talk about this 90%, because this 10% people are the people who are actually not really interested, because they would have been pushed into the course because their friends had come for this course, or their parents said this. Because 90% of the candidates who come into the course program are the people who have been referred by a previous alumni or a company in the Technopark or an employee in Technopark, because they have got placed. Now, when I see someone else and not having a job, I feel sympathy for that person. I refer that person, but that candidate itself is not interested. It's very difficult to teach someone who is not really interested in pursuing it. But even that is a good thing, because at least they have discovered that they are not interested in this and they can pursue something else. So from that perspective, I think that's a positive outcome, because if you're not interested in something, I strongly recommend that you should not pursue it, because you will be unhappy and you will be able to, as I mentioned about the ikigai, like, you should pursue something that you're passionate about, you're skilled in, that you can able to support yourself and your family. And also this program, I would say it's probably the best investment that you can make for your future, because skill is something that people cannot steal from you. For example, you buy a car today at 10 lakh rupees, and after 3 years, if you sell, you'll get only 6 lakhs. Uh, and if you buy gold, it appreciates by maybe 5%, 10% every year. But then it can get stolen also by somebody, right? But if you invest in your skill, skill is the only thing which, if you invest in and if you start using it, after 2 years it doubles, after 4 years it quadruples, after 10 years it becomes 10 times. Skill is one thing that appreciates as you use. If you invest in a car, it depreciates every year. But if you invest in a skill and if you start using it, the more you use it, the more valuable it becomes. That's why I told you about, I give an example of this friend of mine who called from Canada. In 10 years, he invested 54,000 rupees for the course, and he's earning 3 crores today per year because he learned and he applied, and he has been improving his skill every year. And as he uses it, it becomes more and more valuable. And the good thing about the skill and an IT job, it is not a job that is confined to Trivandrum or Kerala or India. It is a global opportunity. So the benchmarks of your salaries and your opportunities are global. And if you have good skills, you can get hired remotely by companies in US and Europe. And some of them give you an opportunity to work from your hometown itself. And for others, they will give you opportunity to migrate. In fact, we are discussing with our partner in Japan. They're looking at interning our students for 6 months uh, uh, who have completed the training. They are offering that they can give a 6 months internship, and during the internship, they do very. Hello, reconnect. Hello, I think I lost my connection for a moment. Yeah. So when you go into this program, you have opportunity for employment with 300 plus companies in Technopark and globally, and you have preference for recruitment from companies in Technopark and Infopark, and you are coming into the program with very high placement track record. A placement track record which is probably as high as IIT or IIM, if I am to boast about it actually, because even in the worst situations where even there was downturn and people were not being hired from the campus, even in those situations, we have over 90% placement track record. So Benjamin Franklin saying, for the best return on your money, pour your purse in your head. That is, invest in your brain, invest in your knowledge and skills. So that's the best investment that you can ever make. And I feel that developing in the full stack developer program or data science engineering program with Infotech is probably the best investment that you can make for any training program in India or outside India. Because the similar program that you do outside India, the data science engineering program, an MS program, uh, is typically got about 400 to 500 hours. But our program is about 800 hours, and that program, MS program in US universities, will cost you about 30 to 40 lakh rupees, whereas this program costs you about 80,000 rupees. Uh, so there's value for money, as well as there's a great opportunity which you have at the end of the course. Some of you may be even contemplating about traveling outside India, moving outside India, or doing a postgraduate programs in India. I also want to share some experiences of people that I have been associated with. Uh, in fact, in the 3 batches that we run here, all the 3 batches, we have one person or the other who has either gone to Canada or UK or Australia and come back and join for this course because they've gone there and they've looked for jobs and they're able to find the jobs, they come back and join for this course. Um, and I have an example of a relative of mine also who has completed her post graduation in India. She was a rank holder in one of the top central universities, and then pursued her MSc Data Science from a university in US, which is again among the top universities in the US. And she did really well. And the final semester, she had an internship with a company. At the end of the internship, there were two candidates in the internship. One was her, another one was a candidate who had a 2-year work experience in India as a software engineer in Infosys. So at the end of the course, the person with a 2-year experience was hired permanently. This this person who completed her, um, who had the rank holder from India, she did not get regularized in employment. So what I'm trying to say is that even if you're planning to look for jobs outside India, you should try to build your resume and your experience in India, work for at least 2 years in India, only then you migrate. So when you go with that experience of 2 years, uh, then you do a postgraduate program, and uh, when you get into a job, there's a high chance that you will get regularized. Or even without doing a postgraduate program, you can get a direct hire from a company in US or Europe. But if you are a fresher and if you straight away go for an MTech or MSc program there, and if you look for a job, you might get some internship, but getting that regularized is very, very difficult. And your investment will, there's a high chance that your investment is at risk and you will be under a lot of severe pressure. So instead of that, um, if you pursue this program or similar programs in India, get into even a small company, build your profile, build experience for about 2 years, then you have a global opportunity that is open to each one of you. So I told you I have three students from three different batches who have come from UK and Canada doing this course. So I do not want similar experiences of people. That's why I'm sharing this experience with you so that you can make a considered and decision. And the course fees, you would be already aware, we're charging only 69,000 rupees, which is a per month rate, which is only half of what you will earn from the first month of your salary. For example, we're charging a monthly course fees of 15,000 rupees only. And typically, students get 25 to 30,000 rupees per month after once they get placed in a job here after doing the course. Some of the companies may have about 3 to 4 months of internship after the training, but after that, most of the companies pay 25 to 30,000 rupees as a starting salary. So you are only paying uh, half a month's salary for 3 months or 4 months uh, uh, by joining for this program. And there is a selection process. Why we have a selection process? As I told you, is we want to take people that we are reasonably confident that we will be able to support in placing, because we don't want to have people who are not suitable for this program. People who may not, you can, if you find that we have certain reasonable confidence that we can support you with placement, we ask you to join for the course. And after the 10 days of training, you will have an evaluation. So there you can do a self-evaluation, check whether you are actually able to cope with this training. And only if you are able to cope with this program, after 10 days, you need to pay the first installment of the fees. So you are able to make a decision based on your ability to cope with this course also. But of course, after that, um, most candidates, by the time they finish 1 month, they will have a reasonable confidence about their ability to complete this program. And they will, and most people, 90% of them, continue into the course. And some of the feedbacks from CEOs of companies in Technopark CEOs, Infopark CEOs about the course here. You can also go to our Facebook page or um, LinkedIn and other pages to see, uh, and also you can go to a placement page to see the candidates who have been placed through these programs. And I hope the time that you spent in this meeting was meaningful, and I was able to share something relevant for you. And if you have any questions, even outside of the training, anything related to the industry or opportunities in the industry, any questions that you have here, you can post it here. You can even ask me right now. You can unmute and you can kindly ask, please. Any questions, please?
Got any fee structure for it?
Fees, total fees is 69,000 rupees. That is to be paid in 4 installments. 9,000 rupees while joining. I mean, once you're selected for the course and after the interview, if you're selected, 9,000 plus GST is the 18%. Then after 10 days of joining, after the first camp is over, you can do a self-evaluation to check whether you continue to be interested in the program and whether you will cope with the program. Then you can decide to pay the first installment. So after that, there are 4 installments. First one, there is um 15,000, second month 15,000, third month 15,000, fourth month 15,000. So it's 15,000 rupees monthly that you have to pay. That I told you, 15,000 rupees monthly is typically half the salary our students get after the training per month. Is Kingston, you can ask a question. Somebody asked about the timing. The timing is 9 to 6. The training program is full-time program, 9 to 6, Monday to Saturday. Why we have made it 9 to 6 is because we wanted to get used to a regular work hour. Because once you get into a job, most of the companies operate from 9 to 6 or 8:30 to 5:30 or 9:30 to 6:30. So we wanted to get used to at least 9 hours of work, and that will build. So when you get into a job, you will not struggle. So this 4 months that you're here, you'll get a training on how we are able to. Kingston, please ask a question. You can type your question. Yeah. So you know how to ask how to cope with this timing, and also uh, uh, the duration is 4 months because we have designed the program based on the training programs of most of the multinationals. So based on that, we have designed the course. Uh, Kingston, please ask a question. You can unmute yourself and ask. Okay, can you tell me about AI, UI, UX, and AI related careers? See, AI is AI is doesn't happen in the vacuum, right? Um, AI is basically because you need to build uh, uh, you need, even for AI you need to write a program, right? So recently Bill Gates was asked the same question. He said programmers are not going to be outdated. Programmers, more programmers will be needed even to develop AI. And most of this chat GPT is a general purpose technology, right? But then if you look at, you will require
Actually,
specific purpose technologies also. Kingston, you've been unmuted. You can ask a question, please.
yeah, Sachi, actually I have an experience 2 years in a test engineer role.
Okay.
Yeah,
As a manual
so
tester or as an automation tester?
both manual tester and I have completely for a 6 month test as a automation test engineer too.
Okay.
So
So Bala,
yeah,
you can
so
mute yourself. Yeah. Kingston, carry on.
Yeah, actually, I have 1.5 years of experience in manual testing, and I have 6 months of automation testing too. So, as per your preference, for my future trends, what will you prefer?
See, automation itself, there are opportunities. There are AI tools coming into automation also. So one is that you can pick up more of those tools, performance testing tools or APM, app testing tools, integration tools. That's one model, and that's one way to specialize. That's one discipline. The other one is based on your exposure to automation and test engineering. You can, if you find programming to be interesting and easy for you, you could probably um, transition your career as a full stack developer or as an AI engineer, because a lot of AI tools are going to be
Oh,
built into in for testing also. So you could build tools for testing also.
yeah, like in that current trend, they were asking in every requirement, they were asking the tools of DevOps. So actually, DevOps is necessary in testing.
Yeah, I think DevOps engineering is an area that because you need to deploy it in the, at least the deployment part you should learn.
Yeah,
May not be
exactly.
the
So
entire stack, but at least how to deploy using DevOps and Kubernetes. That part, at least if you learn, it will be good. But learning DevOps is a good idea. And there's something called
yeah,
DevOps SRE, site reliability engineer. That's also a growing career. And in fact, we are also thinking about rolling out a program for DevOps.
okay, Saji, if I if anyone have a career gap, so they can again start while, as you said, like again we start like AI as a course, and again can we easily catch up the job?
Yeah, so it depends on how you are able to justify that break and why you have taken a break. For example, if it's a family reason, and especially for mothers taking care of the children, is a very important thing, and you cannot deny that. And so it depends how you are a better person. So you, when you go for an interview or test or evaluation, you need to position yourself how you are a better person than compared to what you were yesterday or 2 years back. So after 2 year gap, that 2 year gap is added to your experience, your competence, then naturally they should be having a companies are looking to hire people who have competence. And if they find that you have added some competence and that is valuable to them, companies will certainly be open to taking you. So it depends on how you have used that 2 year gap and how you have been a better person. So I think that's a personal question. We need to sit down together, maybe on a one-to-one. I can help you to handle that if you have it. Irrespective of anyone joining for the course, if you have any, if you want any mentoring, if you want any advice, and if you want to fine-tune your resume, or if you're having going for interviews, if you're not able to crack it, and if you want some help, please feel free to drop by or connect with me online. I can guide you one-to-one.
Sure, Saji. Thank you. Saji, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Thank you, King
Yeah,
Sanjeev.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Saji.
Anybody else? Any other question? I think Shuhana wanted to ask you something. Ask something. Shahana. Anyone else want to ask any question? Yeah, Shahana.
No, no, sir. I have heard everything. Actually, actually, I have a career gap of 4 years, and I want to get into this tech developer field. That's why I try to join to
Okay.
join for an
So this,
internship.
yeah. So probably I'll give you an example of another lady who had joined our program in the last two batches back, and she joined the course after a 13-year gap. that doesn't mean that everyone who comes after 13 years will get a job. But then, what I'm trying to say that she had 3 kids, and then the youngest started going to school. That's when she was a computer science engineer, but then she never worked even once, and she got married, and then she had kids, and the youngest started going to school. Then she came and joined for this course. She joined for the data science and AI program, and the training program she did reasonably well. Uh, so we had some data that we could share with companies. So one of the companies that we were associated with uh, offered her an internship. In fact, they offered an internship to around 10 candidates. And at the end of 1 month, they selected 3 candidates, including this person who had a 13-year career gap. Because during that internship, there is an opportunity to prove herself. She really worked well and worked hard, and they found that she's valuable, and then they took her. So people like you, Sahana, what I'm trying to say is that opportunities are there provided you are able to show proof of your competence, proof of your performance, and just by doing the course, we cannot assure you anything. But then during the training, if you perform well, if you're able to, we can try and help you to get at least an internship. And if you perform well on the internship, people will hire you. That's the way forward for people with career gaps. Am I clear, Shahana? And that should answer some questions for others also. Anybody else? Any other questions, or shall we close this meeting? And those of you planning to apply for the course, you can go to our website and complete the application. And if you want any support, feel free to call our office number 0471407777 or 94471.
Saji, one more doubt.
Yeah.
Have any option to learn DevOps in your Infotech Academy?
We are planning a program, Kingston, so we can come back to you on that. We're planning a short course for working professionals.
Okay, so what are the things available, like full stack and AI only?
We have full stack developer programs in 3 different streams. That is what you call Java, .NET, and Python. And then the AI, data science is another stream. AI is another stream.
Yeah, Saji, can you explain that data science and the difference between data science, science and data scientist?
I think
Actually,
I'm
it's
not a technical.
two things, right?
Data science engineering and data science are, I mean, it's quite. But the data analytics and data science engineering are 2 different. Data analytics is basically you're trying to make sense out of data.
Mm-hmm.
And data science engineering is basically you're trying to build applications which will give you the sense out of data.
Okay, I get you. Okay, Saji, thanks.
Right. Okay, guys. Thank you, and God bless you. Wishing you a happy weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.